Crystal Garvin here, and I'm going to do an overview of Symphony of the Cells. This is a topical application for body systems, and it was developed by Boyd Truman. He's a massage therapist with over 30 years of experience using essential oils, and he has a wellness clinic in Utah where various practitioners use a lot of different types of therapies to help people in their wellness journeys. But he has developed these specifically from his experience, extensive research, and just seeing what actually works for people. I was able to attend one of his trainings recently in Raleigh. It's about 6 hours long. And so I'm going to give you a really brief summary of it compared to that 6-hour training. If you ever have a chance to attend, I would encourage that. But if not, this will give you an overview of how to use the oils in a simple but extremely effective way. And really one of the key messages he brought to us was not to be afraid of the oils, not to be so afraid that we might overuse them, that we don't use enough. Because when we're dealing with some severe acute or chronic issues, a lot of times what he sees is that people don't use enough because they are afraid of them. And then they're not using enough to truly combat or to bring the body back into proper balance and harmony. So we're going to talk through some of the philosophy behind his training, and we'll also see some of it in action. I'll give you a couple of demos on 2 of my children to show you how easy and fast it can be. These are the 2 books that you can get from various different websites. His website is True Wellness, and the Symphony of the Cells protocols are in the Symphony of the Cells book, of course. But he also has this Essential Oils Expanded book, which is a complete reference guide with protocols for A to Z ailments, issues, health concerns, and it includes the Symphony of the Cells protocols as well. So in Essential Oils Expanded, you will see a lot of this is kind of how it's laid out. I know my picture is small up here, but just to kind of show you what I'm looking at, a disease or a concern will be named, and he'll have listed out which oils to take internally in a capsule, and then also different oils that you can use internally or topically. And he'll recommend supplements, vitamins with that, as well as citrus oils to drink in water, and typically one of the Symphony of the Cells protocols as well. So this is a more complete picture of all that he would recommend if you were dealing with one of these issues. Symphony of the Cells by itself has been very effective for a lot of people, but he has found when people also add in supplements, drinking citrus water, doing some of the other things he recommends, they see better results, and they see results more quickly. He did mention that 80% of his oil usage is internal. He's a big believer in using a lot of oils internally. He talked some about the benefits of massage because it improves circulation, enhances lymph flow and immunity. It releases toxins and promotes tissue regeneration. And he talked about why specifically applying oils to the back and the bottoms of the feet is so effective, because we are then touching the nerve endings, and we're able to hit some reflex points that connect to our entire body. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But basically, he talked about connectivity of the nerves being in the back and the bottoms of the feet to every organ or gland. And those nerve endings being such a critical and important place that's really effective for applying the essential oils. Many of you have seen this already. This is the wellness pyramid or stair steps to wellness. And he talked a lot about lifestyle and how important all of these pieces are to making the essential oils and the Symphony of the Cells protocols work even better. Again, he has seen tremendous results with people just starting to use Symphony of the Cells and taking care of some of these lifestyle items later. But the sooner that you incorporate good nutrition, rest, some mentality of movement, getting some exercise, reducing toxins, cleansing of toxins, the more you're going to see the results. So he talked quite a bit about how we are depleted of water, how about 75% of us in America at least are dehydrated. and we do not replace and replenish the water that our bodies are using, and our hydration levels actually decrease with age. So as we deplete the body with unnatural substances, chemicals, processed food, that toxic load, and then we're not flushing out with a proper amount of water, and we're walking around dehydrated as well, we are actually causing some of the chronic issues that we're seeing in our society. So he talked quite a bit about these specific lifestyle elements to creating the right environment for the oils to work as well as they possibly can. Because we are what we eat, but we are what we digest. And we are about 70 to 80% water, but as we age, that amount decreases. And even 5% depletion of hydration in our body can mean complete disaster to our health. Okay, so those are some things to just keep in mind. There's a few others that we'll go through on the nutrition standpoint, but I loved how he called the gut mom, because he said, you know, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And 70 to 80% of our immune system is in our digestive tract. This system needs to process, metabolize, and assimilate everything that comes into our stomachs, everything that comes into our bodies that we're supposed to be processing. And I'll just read from this. A troubled intestine can send signals to the brain, just as a troubled brain can send signals to the gut. Therefore, a person's stomach or intestinal distress can be the cause or the product of anxiety, stress, or depression. That's because the brain and GI system are intimately connected. And that's from Harvard Health. Okay, he didn't make this up himself. Now, these are not the best slides and graphics you're going to see, because these are pictures of the slides that he showed us. I am really grateful to a team member, Diane Carroll, who took pictures so that we could have something to use for these slides to give you a little bit of an idea visually of what he talked to us about. But we do need to make sure we're taking care of our guts. If the digestive system isn't working properly, the rest of the body is going to fail. That's really the bottom line with the digestive tract, and how critical it is that we take care of it. The average American consumes 150 to 170 pounds of sugar annually, and sugar is a neurotoxin. We need to recognize it for what it is. We also have the highest stress levels of anyone in the world, which also releases glucose and cortisol in our systems. And we aren't wired and plumbed to be able to handle that onslaught of neurotoxin levels. This is another critical piece of it. So we actually can shut down our nerve function with poor nutrition, dehydration, chemicals, consumption of sugar. And these are some critical pieces to the puzzle when people are noticing that things aren't working correctly. We need balance, we need equilibrium, and we have a lot of challenges with failing systems in our society. Processed foods, about 70% of the average American diet. It's called the SAD diet often, and it just means the standard American diet, because it is really sad to see how we're the most overfed but undernourished of all the developed nations in the world. And we have plenty of calories and really high portions, but we're not getting the nutrients that we actually need. We are depleted of micronutrients. Heating food, also cooking food, changes the pH, cooks out a lot of the great nutrients in the food. So we're not eating enough raw foods when we do eat healthy foods. And that actually makes us acidic. It makes our bodies a welcome feeding ground for disease. He also did touch on pharmaceuticals, and I've got my notes in front of me. If you hear me turning pages, that's why I'm trying to make sure I'm hitting the high points of what he talked about on some of these different topics. In pharmaceutical production, for example, the raw material most widely used for the synthesis of many medication molecules is petroleum. In aromatic medicines, since the medicating molecules are a product of plant photosynthesis, we're dealing with a non-polluting renewable resource. And I believe the day will come when the Earth's inhabitants will look back and say the age of petrochemistry was short, but very polluting interlude in the history of mankind. So this is something he agrees with very strongly, because medication is based on petrochemistry, and we have all these synthetic things that we're adding to our systems, along with all of the processed and overheated foods, the fried foods, alcohol, things that lead to fatty liver, those kinds of things. The number one, well, the top, I should say, the top health concerns in our society in America have to do with our cardiovascular systems and our metabolism. And that has everything to do with how we fuel our bodies. It's something we can do something about. And that's the good news. We can. It doesn't mean it's easy, but you are worth it. You're worth making that commitment and that choice for your health and for your body. Detoxification is important, something we should do regularly. Getting enough antioxidants, ensuring our cellular longevity. These are all pieces of what doTERRA offers through our supplements as well, the polyphenols, flavonoids. He talked about LLV, our Lifelong Vitality Pack, being formulated to help every body system and organ that we have. It's formulated that specifically. These are some of the clinically supported benefits of LLV, and you can learn a lot more about our #1 selling product, Lifelong Vitality Pack, elsewhere. But I just wanted you to see again some of the benefits, some of the highlights. Our Microplex VMZ is like getting 12 servings of fruits and vegetables. Wholesale, it costs about $2.65 a day. So is that worth it for you to have the best bioavailable vitamins and minerals that will help you fill that gap where you have those deficiencies and help support healthy metabolism, cellular energy, fight free radicals, help your immune system function better, along with your digestion? Omega fatty acids are another really important thing that he said, do not skimp on these. These can reduce coronary heart disease. You should be having a couple of grams a day, and people with higher levels of omega fatty acids consumption have lower rates of depression. So this is something where I've heard several people who are experts in the field talk about how our full dose of omegas in our Z omega, for example, can actually be doubled or tripled or even quadrupled. You're not going to overdose on those. You're helping your heart, you're helping your joints, helping your brain, your mental health, also your mental clarity, and your mobility, things that all change a lot as we age as well. Our Z omega is a really powerful combination of both the fatty acids that we need, the omega 3s, and our essential oils. 9 essential oils are built in for extra antioxidant protection. We have a few different options for that. We have the Z omega, we have the V omega, the vegan version, with only the land sourced botanicals. You can go back and how we have land sourced omega fatty acids and also marine. The V omega does not have the marine sources. And then the IQ omega is just the straight liquid form. It's not in a soft gel capsule, and it does have an orange flavor that makes it easy to take. So it's good for kids or others who for some reason can't swallow capsules. Alpha CRS is the final piece of LLV. This is power packed. I encourage you to research the ingredients of all our supplements, but this one especially, there's a reason that it is as much individually to purchase as almost as much as the entire 3-pack. You could get almost all 3 of them. I think it's only a $10 difference for the price that you could just buy this one individually. So buying them as a 3-pack is definitely the best deal, but this one is extremely powerful. The ingredients that are included here are top of the line, amazing for our cellular function, including cellular DNA and cellular energy. It reduces oxidative stress, which has everything to do with our inflammatory response. Okay, so if you're looking for something to help with inflammation, all of these and energy, all of these ingredients are targeted toward those issues. Another thing he talked quite a bit about is enzymes. And enzymes are really a catalyst to life. Almost all metabolic processes in the cell and in the body need enzymes to occur at rates fast enough to sustain life. So they actually regulate respiration, thought, growth, taste, smell, nerve stimulation, immunity, hormone regulation, cellular growth, thousands of other things. Bottom line is Terrazyme has an amazing blend of active whole food enzymes, and this supports things that deal with digestion for sure. It's really great if you've eaten a heavy meal and it's not settling well. If you have certain food intolerances, can definitely help with that. It helps you digest your proteins, fats, and sugars more quickly, more comfortably, get them either out of your body or let your body use them for energy production more quickly. And when your body doesn't have to focus so much attention on creating digestive enzymes, which also decline as we age, our body's ability to create digestive enzymes does decline. But when your body's not having to work so hard to create those enzymes to digest your food, guess what? You're reserving more resources for your body to focus on energy production and metabolism. So if those are areas where you'd like improvement, increased metabolism, more energy, along with more comfortable digestion, this is a key product. And we often don't realize as we age, we start having more problems with irregularity, constipation, those types of things. Our digestion is slowing down because our body isn't able to make those digestive enzymes. And again, we don't get enough of them in our diets. We don't get enough whole raw foods and fermented foods typically in the American diet. So it supports conversion of food to energy. It's also amazing if there are any skin issues going on. That's usually a sign that your body's trying to detox something and it needs extra help. This will help your body to detox more quickly. And so it's actually the #1 recommended product for a whole host of skin related issues as well. Another one that he did not mention, but that I like to add in is PB Assist, because our gut microbiota is so crucial for good health. Having good bacteria actually get populated in the lower GI tract. And there are products out there that boast billions more units of active probiotic cultures, but they're actually killed in stomach acid. And so our patented double encapsulated formula, you can see there's a green capsule inside another capsule. So it's the prebiotic fibers in the outer capsule, the probiotic bacteria in the inner green capsule. It actually protects that inner green capsule so that those probiotics can get to your lower GI tract where they need to repopulate. Okay, so this is going to help with also digestion, but healthy functioning of your immune system as well, and the health of your GI tract, where again, about 70 to 80% of your immune system is housed. And there can easily be an imbalance of the correct bacteria in your gut that can cause so many different health issues. So this really encourages that friendly bacteria and helps so much after detoxing or after being on something like an antibiotic where you need to repopulate the good bacteria because antibiotics kill off both good and bad bacteria. I take all of these every single day, twice a day. So this is something that I do regularly and it has really enhanced my health. Okay, so that's kind of the foundation. Something else that he mentioned is limonene, which is highly present in all of our citrus oils. This helps to get rid of acid in our systems and restore to an alkaline state, which means no sickness. In an acidic state, that actually leads to tumors because it's our body's way of trying to save us. When we're in an acidic state and our body is actually pulling toxins and other things that can lead to sickness to one area, he talked a lot about how that actually creates tumors and our body's trying to consolidate and bring those toxic ingredients to a specific area, and that does lead to tumors. So our body's trying to save us. But beyond that, having citrus oils in our water daily is a great gentle way to stay detoxified and to keep our bodies in that alkaline state as well. All right, so I'm just going to turn through my notes here and see if there's anything else he said. He talked about enzymes actually acting as scavengers. So they assimilate what our bodies need and can use and help to break down what we don't need and can't use and get those out. So these are the first 3 steps: LLV, Terrazyme, and citrus oils that he recommends for everyone to get started with right away. He also recommends regular capsules of essential oils internally, and you can change up what those are. You can actually take any of the 3 oils in his Symphony of the Cells protocols and take those internally if they're recommended for internal use. He recommends one always be a citrus, and then any 2 other oils that you can take internally. And you can change those up a lot. Our chemistry is changing all the time, and our body might need or crave different things. You might get tired of taking the same thing all the time. If you're drinking lemon in your water a lot and you're getting bored with it, try grapefruit, try lime, try lemon lime. Tangerine is one of my favorites. So you can be your own guinea pig with that, but you also just want to stay consistent with doing the things that will help lead to ultimately better longevity, better energy, better metabolism, cardiovascular health, and wellness overall. Okay, so one thing he warned about is you need to tell people what could happen and build their confidence in you. They really may not feel very good the first 8 to 12 hours after receiving Symphony of the Cells. If they're already in pretty good general health and they're doing this for maintenance or occasional illness, they're probably not going to experience a lot of detoxifying effects. If they've been dealing with a chronic issue for a long time, or if it's an acute issue that has come up, it's a potential that you could be really either waking the beast, he called it, and waking them up a little bit too quickly, their whole nervous system, everything that the oils connect to, and waking up the beast is not fun. So if someone's been dealing with something a long time and it's a really complicated, difficult issue, you might need to start with just 1 or 2 drops instead of what he recommends, 6 to 8 drops of each of the oils, or even up to 10. But he said, don't start there. Start slowly. Make sure people can tolerate it. Make sure they know they might actually have some detoxifying effects. They might have a headache, or they might have to be in the bathroom a lot those first 8 to 12 hours. But if you've prepared them for that, it won't scare them. Let them know this is natural. Your body has some things it needs to get rid of, and this is going to help that process. It's going to help really wake up your lymphatic system, start getting some things moving in your body, help your blood flow. And when that all happens and you're also connecting to those nerves, you are going to potentially see some what you could think is a negative effect or even a reaction, but this is actually a good thing. Our bodies need to have that that stuff taken out so we can have better health, and we can detoxify and have better pathways and access to what it takes for our bodies to heal themselves, because that's what our bodies are designed to do. Human subtlety will never devise an invention more beautiful, more simple, or more direct than does nature, because in her inventions, nothing is lacking and nothing is superfluous. That was Leonardo da Vinci. So the moral of the story from Boyd Truman was, got to start with LLV, Terrazyme, and citrus oils. That alone will cut 50 to 60% of illness down. Okay, so he really emphasized this before he ever got into the Symphony of the Cells protocols. A couple of the before and after testimonials that he shared many, but a couple of them had to do with things you might not think essential oils would have an effect on, have anything to do with. So extreme scoliosis, curvature of the spine. But what had happened here was this young man had such severe scoliosis, and he was actually experiencing the muscles tightening and developing a lot more on one side of his body, and the extreme inflammation on that side of the spine that was curved. And so you can see that in the first picture. And the second picture, I don't remember exactly how long he said it was, but it wasn't a very long period of time, and they were seeing a tremendous difference in the curvature of his spine because of the inflammation that had been reduced so greatly. So we're not saying that applying essential oils to the back will change the curvature of the spine. However, when you're helping the inflammation reduce, again, that's a way that your body can start to heal itself. So this was with the inflammation protocol. I'm not going to show you that one today, but this is the one that he recommends starting with if there are severe health issues. And in the book, each protocol, there are several different ones, tells you what you might use it for. So the inflammatory one that he recommended for this young man. He also recommends for a whole host of things that are totally not compliant. And I'm hesitant to say some of them, but there's no way to talk about Symphony of the Cells and be compliant. I've already said non-compliant things. So let's just keep this here within where you found it shared privately. And I'm not putting it out publicly on YouTube or anything like that, to just protect our ability to continue sharing these amazing resources. But it does talk about things like headaches and joint pain and inflammatory response. So that's something we can talk about very compliantly. But when we start talking about specific disease names, that is where we have what we call these compliance issues, if you haven't heard of that before, because the FDA does not want us making medical claims. So we're not saying that the oils will cure or that any of these protocols will cure these issues, but they can help the body's natural defenses and ability to restore balance and heal itself, can support that process when someone's dealing with these things, okay? So things like meningitis, spondylitis, neuropathy, chronic fatigue, lupus, back pain, herniated disc, hypertension, inflammation, neuralgia. I'm just naming some of them: rheumatoid arthritis, sciatica, scoliosis, tendinitis. So that's just maybe a third of the things that are listed in the book. Okay, so that's what he recommended for this young man. And this was actually, I believe, the very first one that Boyd Truman developed, was the inflammation protocol, because these were some serious issues that he was seeing he needed to figure out a way to find something that would help and support the body. And he also had a cousin who had dealt with severe health issues after an accident. I believe it was a skiing accident. And he was skiing or snowmobiling, something with the snow. And anyway, he came off of a kind of the side of a hill, almost like a cliff, and he was kind of out of control and thought he was going to land rear end first in a patch of snow that looked nice and soft, but we know the snow can cover many things we can't see that are under it, and there was a large tree stump under it, so he landed with his tailbone on that tree stump, and it severely messed up his back. He had herniated discs. He had been on very strong narcotic pain medication for over a decade, and he was just getting worse and worse. He was very, very sick. He was one of those who responded with extreme detoxification effects after the very first inflammatory protocol that Boyd gave him. Okay, but he was desperate. He was ready to try anything. And he was in the bathroom most of that night, Boyd said, but Boyd had warned him that could happen. He'd been on really strong medications for many years, so that wasn't surprising. He was prepared for that. He knew that meant the oils were working. They were doing something. They were getting things out of his body. After that first night, he started to feel better. He was having decreased inflammation and pain, so Boyd kept up this protocol a few times a week, and I believe taught his wife to do it. So Boyd wasn't the one doing it all the time. It's really simple. Anyone can do this, even a child, as you'll see later. But this was his results from November to May. He was able to see his back straighten out. He had reduced inflammation. He was able to start exercising again, which he hadn't been able to do. So he was feeling better. He had obviously some weight loss. And he just looks so much healthier. So this was just a couple of the pictures that he shared as far as results with this. So this is kind of just a really brief overview. There's so much that he went through. He actually shows every single protocol in the book if you go to one of the longer trainings. And throughout, he welcomes questions. So every single one of the protocols and every single one of the issues in here, it's open for questions for people to say, if someone has this, what would you do? And this is what we've been trying. And he will walk through all of those issues and answer those questions really thoroughly. So it's quite impressive, the information, the amount of education that you get from this training. And this is just really, again, a very brief overview But you're going to see next how simple and easy it is. And I want to emphasize before I show you how to do Symphony of the Cells protocols, just a couple of them, that you can't mess anything up. You can't screw up the protocol by skipping a step or substituting an oil or doing something in the wrong order or anything like that. He said the oils will do their work even if you don't follow these exactly. So if you've ever taken aroma touch training, it's an amazing training. It's wonderful for creating homeostasis. Boyd Truman even talked about how much he loves aroma touch and uses it and believes it's the best way to get someone into homeostasis very quickly. But it's not something that he uses for every single health ailment and issue people are dealing with. And so it's specifically meant for homeostasis, which is awesome for helping people with a lot of different issues. But you do have to do specific oils. It's just 8 oils in a very specific sequence. And the training does really emphasize that you don't want to add or take away anything or get the wrong number of swipes or steps or forget to do the lymphatic push at the end. And there's a lot of things to remember. I love aroma touch. I use it regularly, but Symphony of the Cells is much faster. I can do this in 5 or 10 minutes if I'm in a hurry. I can make it take longer if I want to, because I know the aroma touch patterns and I know some of those techniques that I can incorporate with Symphony of the Cells if I want to, but I don't have to. And aroma touch for an adult, it takes about 40 minutes. For one of my kids, I can usually do it in 15 or 20 minutes, but they're growing bigger. And so there's more surface area to cover. And really with my oldest, it would probably take almost the same as it would a full-size adult with aroma touch. And I don't always have half an hour or longer to devote to putting some oils on people's backs and feet to help them feel better. And so these Symphony of the Cells protocols are brilliant for getting a lot of oils into the system very quickly. And so let's go ahead and carry on with some demonstrations, first of the basic protocol, and then I'm going to show you the lymphatic protocol. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate one of the basic protocols of the Symphony of the Cells system. This is my son Quinn, he's 9, and his pet penguin. So this basic protocol is at the very beginning of the book, and it works well for children. You don't have to have them lie down. You don't have to use carrier oil, although you can. And you just do 3 or 4 drops of each oil. So he's not having any specific health issues right now. And this is just a general immune booster and stress reducer. You can see some of the possible conditions you might want to use it for. But we just kind of use this when we want to maintain good health, or when one of my kids says, "Hey mom, I'd really like to have an aroma touch." All of these, anything that involves a massage table is an aroma touch to them. They're starting to become familiar with the fact that a lot of what I do is Symphony of the Cells, not aroma touch on them. But you can see here the steps: frankincense, melaleuca, aroma touch, and peppermint are the 4 oils you need. So frankincense I'll just put across his shoulders. I'll have him smell it, and then I'll put what's left on my hands on the bottoms of his feet. Melaleuca will go all over the back and then bottoms of the feet. Aroma touch all over the back, bottoms of the feet. Peppermint all over the back, bottoms of the feet. And that's it. It's really simple, really quick. Go ahead and lie down.
Okay.
All right, so I've got frankincense. Just going to put 3 to 4 drops across the shoulders. See, it's okay if they're moving around. They're not still. It's fine. Just come across the shoulders. You can get it on the underside of the shoulders and on the neck. I would recommend that if there are any lymphatic issues, but if so, you would probably do the lymphatic protocol. And then I'll just put my hand under here and have him smell the frankincense from my hand. And then I'll go down to his feet, which I just realized are not quite on the video screen area, so I can transfer that, switch that a little. Okay. Then melaleuca. It doesn't have to be right on the spine, just 3 to 4 drops. And it doesn't have to be a specific pattern or way of applying the oils. Just kind of do circular motions. I kind of do a figure 8. Just cover the surface of the back. What's left on my hand goes on the bottoms of his feet. Very simple, right? Then aroma touch. And if I did want to put in some of the aroma touch technique patterns, I certainly could. Certainly could do some of those patterns still. It's not going to hurt anything. If you want to spend a little more time on it, or if you want to do some of the specific patterns in aroma touch that you've learned, if you've taken that, great, but you don't have to. You can just literally swipe it all over the back and the bottoms of the feet. What I love about it is it's simple, it's effective, it does not take long, and you don't have to have any special training for how to put the oils on. The last one, peppermint, a few drops on the back. Now, if I know he's having some, like I said, lymph issues, I could get more into the neck area here, or ear issues. I could put some on the ears, just follow the outer edge of the ear, kind of do circular motions. You learn that in aroma touch, or just kind of put it all over the outer part of the ear and behind on that bone there. But again, I'd probably be doing a different protocol. Just wanted to demonstrate that you can get these oils more specifically on the areas of concern if you're dealing with a specific concern. And then bottoms of the feet. So I could have started with carrier oil or done the carrier oil after frankincense. It's not listed on there, so I didn't have to. If you were to say that it's tingling too much or it's uncomfortable, I would just add some carrier oil at this point. You feeling okay?
My back burns a bit.
It burns a bit? Okay, that's, to a kid, sometimes they'll say that it's the same thing as just the tingly, cold feeling from peppermint, or just the skin possibly having a hard time absorbing all these potent, powerful oils. So I just end with some coconut oil all over his back. Help the skin absorb that a little better. Usually within a minute, if there's any redness or burning sensation, they are fine. That feeling better? Okay, great. So that is the basic protocol. Thanks to our child demonstrator, Quinn, here. And I will show you another protocol after this. Next, I'm going to show you the lymphatic protocol on my oldest son. He's 13. And you can see here, if I can get the light on it, some of the possible conditions you might use this for. He tends to have some skin breakouts, some eczema. He had an earache a few days ago, so this is a good one for him. Anytime there's something with the lymph nodes being swollen for any reason, or there's skin issues, you can see tinnitus is listed, yeast infection, this is a great one to do. So you'll see the steps here. The thing that's different about this one, of course, there's a lot more oils, a lot more steps. That's typical for the other protocols beyond the basic one. But they also all have the nose symbol on each. So I'm going to be having him smell each of the different oils from my hand after I apply to the back. All right, so we'll just go through the steps and the oils, and I'll demonstrate what a really quick protocol would look like. I'm not going to elaborate or do any extra massaging or hand motions or anything. I'm just going to do this as quickly as I can. So I will start with frankincense, and I'll do that across the shoulders, and just about 5 or 6 drops for someone his size. He's an adult size, at least in height. I could do as many as 8 or even 10 of each one if I needed to, but 6 is usually where I try to aim for, and it doesn't have to be an exact number. All right, so just kind of the shoulder area, and then I'll have him smell. Just put my hand under here where you can smell the frankincense. He's saying he can't smell it, but that's okay. He's a little bit stuffed up, and that's another reason I chose this one. And you can't really see his feet. You want to turn the computer for me a bit so you can see his feet? Other way.
Other way.
There we go. So I'm just swiping what's left on the bottoms of his feet. And then I'll do the carrier oil. Mm-hmm. So I'll just do several drops, kind of coat his back. And remember, you can always add more carrier oil if needed, if something doesn't feel right or starting to look red. Now, next it has rosemary / melaleuca, and that just means that if you only have one or the other, you could just pick one or the other. Remember also there are substitutions for any of these oils listed in the back of the book, so if you don't have one at all, then look at those substitutions. But I have them both, and Boyd Truman taught us if you have them both, go ahead and use them both. So I will do rosemary. And my son's saying, what if you don't have a book? If you don't have a book, you need to order one. They are on Aroma Tools, Oil Life, the Symphony of the Cells. I think it's called True Wellness site where Boyd Truman has all of his resources. And we got to do the smell on these ones. We'll do that in a minute, buddy. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. If you're really in a hurry and you need to get through it quickly, I'll show you another way you could do the smelling on melaleuca, which I'll do next. So we have melaleuca or tea tree. Okay, and while I'm doing this, I could hand him the bottle of melaleuca and have him inhale, or I could put some on his hands so he could just inhale it from his own hands if I'm needing to do this even more quickly. Okay, next is Aroma Touch. Here you go. It's great when you have an assistant to hand you the oils, to do some of the steps for you. This can be so fast. And it's so easy. Definitely even a child can do it. Have you smell tea tree? Oh no, this is Aroma Touch, sorry. We're already beyond tea tree. I may not have had him smell tea tree. I don't even remember, but that's okay. If you forget a step or it's melaleuca. If you forget a step or miss a step, it doesn't matter. Substitutions, skipping steps, if someone's sensitive to an oil, for example, it's okay. You can skip that one. This is lemongrass. Why don't you come over here and drop about 6 drops just kind of all over his back. Okay, it comes out pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you kind of got it all centered right here. Remember, you can use the whole surface of the back. And then just swipe it around. Good, now take that hand that you used and wipe it on the bottoms of his feet. I highly encourage teaching your kids to do this because it really is easy to follow the steps in the book. Now put your hand under his nose so you can smell that lemongrass. And I'll grab the Slim and Sassy. This is another way to make it faster, to have 2 people alternating. And I didn't do that exactly in the sequence it says in the book. I had him do the feet and then the smelling. It's fine. Again, I want you to get the picture that this is not a specific, no, let's not do that yet. I'm gonna wait till I'm done with this one. Not a specific pattern, not something you can mess up. You can't do too few drops of oils, too many drops of oils. Don't worry about those types of things. So this is still the Slim and Sassy. You gonna do lemon?
Okay.
Great. even though both of us are doing this and I could go even faster, I really just want one oil at a time permeating into him. So this is grapefruit.
So you don't sniff this one?
Yep, you do, all of them.
Okay.
On this lymphatic protocol, smelling them is an important part about it. Now, one thing that Boyd did show us that I'll tell you is with the lymphatic specifically, if you're doing this because there is an issue going on with the lymph nodes in the neck, go ahead and kind of swipe up and get into that area and really get it into the neck and massage it in. Anywhere that can hit the lymph node area in the neck. And then if it is because of ear issues that you're doing this protocol, again, you can do this on the outside of the ears, those circles, and get the oil behind the ears. All right, before moving on, I would do that, and then I'll do, so I should have kind of smell it while I was up there. See, I forgot.
Should
That's
I
okay.
grab the oil?
No, it's okay. I still got grapefruit on my hands.
Can I start this?
Just wait till he's done smelling, okay? Let's just do one step at a time. Ginger is a bit of a hotter oil. Some people could respond with a burning sensation on that, and there's not much left in this bottle. Let's see if we can get enough out.
Okay, 6 drops.
We'll see how much we can get out. It's a little bit thicker too, and it's a dark color. Oh, yeah, we got enough.
7.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
that'll get on my hand.
That's
and
okay.
burn my hand.
Do you want me to do it? It won't burn your hand, but I'm happy to do it if you don't want to. Okay, then have him smell it after you get it rubbed in, and then do the feet, okay? You don't like that one?
I don't either.
Smells like it.
That's
Does
what
smell like
it is.
ginger. You're right.
That's what
It
it is.
smells like some yummy Asian food.
Can I go to the
Yes. Yeah, I typically just do about 3, maybe 5 deep breaths when I'm doing the aromatic step. And then the last step is peppermint. You'll notice that's the last step on quite a few, partly because that is a driver oil. It's really going to help drive the rest of those oils in. It's going to feel cool and tingly. Sorry, what was that? Oh, now you want Asian food. Can have that effect. Get it into those lymph node areas, around the ears a bit for this one, and smell. Now I can already tell he's breathing more clearly from doing this. And that is it. There is one more option with any of these protocols. You could do a hot towel at the end. You would get it damp, wring out most of the water. You still want it damp but not dripping, and as hot as the person can handle it. I sometimes put towels in a crock pot or just pop it in the microwave for a minute so it's steaming hot. You would just put it over the surface of the back and really let the oils penetrate even more deeply. There can be a little bit of irritation or burning sensation when you do that because the oils are really intensified by the steam, the heat, the hot water, and you may have to do more carrier oil after that. But if you're needing oils to penetrate really deeply, really quickly, that's often what I would do with the infectious disease protocol, for example. I could do that. I'm not going to this time. It's an option at the end of any of these protocols. So there you've seen a couple of them demonstrated. If you don't have the book, you want to make sure and get it. And the steps are really simple, really easy to follow. Most of them are just very straightforward like that. The forgiveness protocol is slightly different. There's a couple of steps like putting it over the heart, and that's rose, which we have in the roller. So you would roll it on the hand and have the person receiving it, the recipient, put it over their own heart and then smell it. And then it says geranium over the liver. So you would have them put it on their hand and rub it over let me think, it's the right side. Yeah, over that side. And then if it has something about kidneys or something, of course, on the back. So there might be a few times when you notice things like that. For the most part, it's very simple, very straightforward. And there are quite a few explanations of how to do things, what to do exactly in the front of the book. And there's a reflexology chart in the back for further helps. And then the oil substitution list. So if there's an oil you don't have, which you could substitute for that instead. And if you get a chance to take the class, I highly recommend it. You get so much oil education from Boyd Truman directly. It was definitely the best oil usage class I've ever taken. Well worth the time and money spent. Thank you for joining us.